Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. This is quite an important video, guys, because there is lots going on right now in regards with Cardano. We didn't put a video out yesterday, which is very, very busy, so we're going to sort of catch up today on everything. Lots has been going on, guys, and we're going to share that with you in this video. We're, of course, going to look at Cardano on these smaller time frames. Now, in our last update, we essentially said, look, you are now in a rising wedge. You know, you've got a very contradictory chart here. You've broken out of your descending resistance, but you formed a rising wedge. And we said before you had even spilled out of this, on balance of probability, what happens with rising wedges, if you go over and you look at the history of any chart and you draw all the rising wedges, the majority of times they will fall to the downside. It's just kind of how these patterns play out. So that has been confirmed. We're also going to be taking a look at Cardano because we still believe that you're about to enter your fifth wave and you're just currently going through your fourth wave pullback. One thing I want to really focus on in this video, we're going to hear from Charles himself talk about where Cardano is as a project, you know, where the Alonso, he gave us an Alonso update. And he said some very, very revealing things. Now, we know Charles has received a lot of backlash on Twitter. Charles Hoskinson faces Twitter backlash as his Cardano prediction falls short of reality. We're going to talk about that towards the end of the video. And I actually want to remind you guys here, did you know, as Frederick Gregard, CEO of Cardano Foundation, explained, our mission is to ensure that Cardano becomes the future financial and social operating system of generations to come by providing guidance, oversight and supervision for Cardano ecosystem post-initial development. I want to remind you guys that that's what's going on here, because right now I'm noticing a real sentiment drop. People are getting very bored with this market. People are getting brassed off. You know, they're losing their patience. It looks like we're going to break out and then we don't, and then we fall back down. And, you know, there's no real kind of explosion here. And you've been spoiled. If you've been in Cardano for sort of the past year or so, the price has been very explosive. And right now you're in this kind of lulling period. You're in this kind of consolidation period, as if 10 weeks, which we had here when everyone was calling Cardano a stable coin, wasn't enough of a consolidation period. But one thing that I really want to remind people is, in terms of a project, they are making continuous progress. You know, there is so much coming for Cardano. We don't even have smart contracts yet, and I keep reiterating that in every single video, because when we do get that, when the Plutus Pioneer, when Plutus and Alonso essentially is mainnet, when it's public, you are going to see an explosion for the demand of this token. And right now, the price really is a reflection of the overall crypto market. It's not a reflection of Cardano and where it's at. It's really a reflection of Bitcoin. We're also going to touch on that very, very quickly, because I think if you look at Bitcoin on a kind of logarithmic chart and you analyze the 4 years, you know, this was your last 4 year cycle, this is your recent one, you're going to see that we're following a very, very similar blueprint, just with more of our kind of unique traits. And that's just simply because the market conditions are different. But we're going to get into that all, guys. So without further ado, let's listen to this clip from Charles, and then let's get into the meat of this video.
Node, and then after the full wallet integration, the PAB integration to the wallet backend. And so all things considered, the velocity is exactly where it needs to be. The progress is exactly where it needs to be. Alonso is coming. And as I said, every month we give you guys a pretty comprehensive update with the episode. And there's a lot of commercial activity already occurring. And we expect to see significantly more activity over the next 90 days. The Gokin Summit has been announced. We said September of 2021. And the location physically, I believe, will be University of Wyoming. And there will be a hybrid event with a digital location as well. And we'll showcase a lot of the great things that are being done. Those who levy criticism at this project are either misinformed or malicious at this point. Cardano remains one of the fastest growing, most stable, most mature, and systematic of cryptocurrency projects. And we remain one of the top mentioned in every social metric in our entire industry. And you can see every week progress being made, every week development being done, and people talking about it on Twitter, on Reddit, on Telegram, with their own projects, and a very vibrant ecosystem. So that's where we're at. And it's going to be a very exciting 90 days as we continue to systematically go through the colors of the Alonso rainbow, leading to a hard fork combinator event. And then we're going to see a lot of apps wake up on the network in a very...
I'm just going to play a bit more of this. I hope you're finding this interesting so far, because he says something towards the end of this little clip that I'm going to that we're playing now that is very, very revealing. So stay tuned, guys. We're only going to play about another minute of it, and then we're going to get into the rest of this video.
Big ecosystem grow. Also, I will remind you that since Mary was launched earlier this year, thousands and thousands and thousands of NFTs and other such things have been issued and sold on Cardano. And there's already a lot of plans for native tokens, such as SingularityNet and many DeFi applications that are coming. And we continue, of course, with integration of all other components. There is a full Hydra team working. Prism is moving along. We've massively expanded requisitions for that team, hiring more than 30 people, nation-state deals, for example, Ethiopia in place, and more to come. So that's a very dense pipeline that we have, and each and every one of those will produce and create value for the network. So don't pay attention to the noise, follow the facts. That's what we've always done. Peer review volume is, of course.
We'll wrap it up there, guys. If you want the full video, head over to Charles's channel on YouTube. Also, give him a follow on Twitter. Essentially, what he said towards the end of the video was just ignore the kind of FUD and follow the facts. And the facts are that, you know, the reason I read you this quote is this is exactly what Cardano are trying to be. They're trying to be the financial and social operating system of the future. If they succeed in that goal, the price that they are at now, it will be but a blip in the ocean. You know, they are really, and I believe they have a good chance of doing it. I think the whole world is moving towards blockchain the same way that, you know, when the internet first came out, nobody really understood the ramifications of it in the sense that, you know, everyone today uses it. We all use the internet on a day-to-day basis, or at least the majority of the world now does, and that is the kind of adoption rate of that is just ever increasing. Blockchain is very, very similar. You know, a lot of the banks, in fact, the majority of the big banks globally have all come out and said, we're going to start running CBDCs. And the reason they're doing this is because they want to be able to see exactly what you're spending your money on, when, and this is blockchain back. So they stand a really good chance of doing this. And like I say, the value of that, we're talking trillions if they succeed that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen next year. You know, we're talking, and we've looked at the possibilities of Cardano reaching $1 trillion in market cap. I actually think it's very likely if you know, they achieve what they're kind of setting out to do. And we still do believe you're coming into your fifth wave. The price action right now is just really following Bitcoin. And one thing I want to point out, and this is where we are in this bull run, I do believe, and I'm going to point it out very quickly, we're going to make a longer video on it, is you can see that we are following 2017 and we are following the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory very, very closely. Now, if you look at the prior cycle, once we had broken out past our all-time highs for Bitcoin, our prior 2013 all-time highs, you can see that you had this run up here, guys, that essentially led us to a kind of halfway point in the cycle, round about the same time period where we are today. So this was May and June, really June 2017, and we had a pretty severe or what seemed like a severe pullback, where everyone was saying similar things to what they are today. You know, about 40% people were saying, oh look, you know, we're in a, you know, this is a bear market, the bull run's over, you know, it can't go much higher, only for us to then from that point go on and go up all the way to 20 grand and make over 1,000% in terms of gains. This is where you are today, guys. You've broken your all-time highs. We have the exact same run up with the exact same pullback all around the same time period, ladies and gentlemen. Now, people are really kind of counting this and saying it's not the same as this due to the severity of the pullback. We've already spoken to you about why this pullback was so severe. It's really because of the leverage in the system. 772,000 people. And I watch liquidated longs on a daily basis, on whether it's Bybit, whatever it is. People are getting wrecked using leverage right now because people are going long thinking we bottomed, and then we don't, and then we do, and then we don't. So right now, guys, you really just want to really ignore the short-term price predictions. We're going to keep you up to date. You know, we did say that this was a rising wedge, and on balance of probability you fall out of it. We can give you this, but ultimately all of this short-term price movement, when you look at the long-term picture, the big scale, the macro scale of things, is really just noise. Because if you understand where this project is going, you know, you can't help but, you know, kind of see this shorter term price action as noise. And we still do believe you'll get into around about that $7.50 to $10 towards the end of the year, or perhaps early next year, depending on when this cycle wants to top out. Also, very quickly before we wrap things up, because I feel like we've spoken about a lot, Charles has been really facing a lot of backlash on Twitter due to this tweet that he kind of made a year and a bit ago, and it says, "This time next year, I predict there will be hundreds of assets running on Cardano, thousands of dApps, tons of interesting projects, and lots of unique use and utility. 2021 is going to be so much fun watching Cardano grow and evolve. The community definitely ready to innovate." Now, it has fallen short. They have definitely grown. The only thing that's really fallen short, and this is a kind of reply to it. Okay, so IHK Charles predicted this year, this a year back. Update: no assets on ADA. Forget thousands of dApps. Not a single dApp on ADA, and only 1 to 2 projects announced working with ADA. What happened to your prediction? What's the prediction for the next 1 year? Now, this guy is, I think he has a point. I think as an investor, you need to be able to, even if you're really invested in a project, you need to be able to listen to the counter argument. You need to be able to listen to the negatives with the positives. You can't just dismiss the negatives. And as somebody who makes YouTube videos on this, I need to take them very seriously, because if I come on here telling you guys, hey guys, I am super bullish on Cardano, without looking at any of the negatives, that is a big problem. So rest assured, I take all the criticism in regards to this project in my stride. Now, he is somewhat right, but somewhat not right. Now, he's right about the dApps. You do have assets, but they're in the form of NFTs. You guys know I don't like NFTs. I think NFTs financially could play a use case, but in terms of collectibles, I think if you're looking, I'm not an art dealer. It's not my forte. If you can make money on that, sure. But to me, I think investing in the underlying technology that these NFTs are built on is far more valuable. That's just my own opinion. But essentially, this guy is kind of right. Now, I want to just point something out. And as somebody who's been in Ethereum, not just Ethereum, many projects, even Polygon recently fell short of a kind of prediction for a fork. Ethereum, the EIP 1559 that we are getting soon, even that's been knocked back slightly to August. But I've been waiting for that for around about 2 years now, since it was first kind of announced. We've been waiting for Ethereum 2. I think that's like 3 years. I can't even remember how many years. It's years amiss from when the predictions, and even the Ethereum developers, Justin Drake, has actually stopped coming out and giving price predictions, because you can't predict. You've got to understand, it's like changing an engine in an aircraft whilst you're flying. It's not an easy task to undertake, because there's so much money now in these projects that they have to take their time with them. And I would much rather they take their time with bringing these mainnets to market than to rush them and have flaws and people lose billions of dollars and the project just gets destroyed socially. So that's all I'll say on that. Let's not act like it's the first time that a kind of project, a creator of a project has come out and given a not inaccurate. I'm sure he believed this was where they were going to be at this time period, but it always falls short. And the reason being is because you're doing a very complex thing that is not an easy task to take on. So that is really all I have for in this video, guys. Just very interesting about Bitcoin. I think we're still following 2017's blueprint. We're actually still following 2013's blueprint, and that's because we're still adhering to the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory. And this, to me, is just a pullback, a half-time kind of whistle before we then continue on. And I think a project like ADA, we've got that fifth wave to come. I'm very, very excited, despite the kind of market sentiment at the moment. And there's lots of doom and gloom. And there's people talking about a macroeconomic crash, which we've covered. And I think... we live in the world of possibilities, guys, and ultimately, that's why I tell you guys to get to terms with what's going on here. Really root your beliefs so that every time there's a gust of wind, you don't fall over. That is all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. I hope you found this content enjoyable. If you have, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a fantastic weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you tomorrow.